Eddie, Eric, and Canaan, and today we are excited to present to you our project on visualizing text data. Our project aimed to utilize natural language processing techniques in order to visualize student responses collected from a study where they were asked to name various visualizations they were shown. We achieved this by first extracting key terms from the visualization captions. Then, we subsequently employed large language model co-occurrence scores between the words to cluster the terms used by the students with those keywords. The intended application of this project is for research involving text responses. The clustering of response terms to selected or generated keywords is meant to provide insight into the common terminology used by students when describing visualizations. By understanding these patterns, researchers can gain valuable insights into how students conceptualize and communicate about visual information.
Our first step in coding and creating the data is to ask a large language model for keywords for the visualization types. So here we ask the Cohere large language model API for responses on keywords that define these visualization types, and the group parses through these longer responses to identify keywords, shown here. We then roll up the student data based on the group and get word counts for terms used in that group. So seen here, we end up with a clean data structure of a map of word used by a student to the count of that word in that group. The final step in programmatically accessing our data and preparing it for the dashboard is to compare them pairwise per group. So we grab the keywords for the large language model identified for a visualization group and the word counts from the students and compare them term by term to eliminate any other confounding variables in a sentence. And we get the term by term similarities seen, believe right here. So we get a structure of a LLM keyword, a term from a student, the similarity of those terms based on the SPACY natural language processing library, and the count of that word. This is then passed to the dashboard.
When looking at our final project deliverable, we have our dashboard here with the keywords group table up at the top. That is broken up by each category for the visual literacy data. And we have our LLM keywords up here at the top, followed by the student terms that were grouped into each LLM keyword. In the bottom left, we have the count for all of these terms that were used by the students. So just showing how often those terms were used within the data, as well as the similarity scores by category for each student term that was used. And in the top right, we have a filter that allows us to filter through each category that was used from the original visual literacy data. And each keyword has changed for each category, and then those student terms that are grouped into those categories follows right below in the keywords group table, as well as the count for words and the similarity scores bar charts. Altogether, this design does a great deal in showing the counts for how often a term is used when speaking on visual literacy data, as well as how similar these terms are with one another, depending on the keyword as well as the category for the data. And not only this, but it also shows how frequently these terms are used and how students will be perceiving visual literacy data just based on the terms that are shown in the keywords group table up at the top.